Welcome back to the Death Needs Dialogue Entertainment Network. This is The Depths of Fel'Than, Episode 14, Ticket to the Bulette, Part A.
So, it has been a while since we've had Nonny at the table.
Hi.
You straight up got kidnapped, just so you know.
I have anxiety.
We're going to start off in the Manse of Gretsch, on the 3rd floor, in the master bedroom, where Ravim sits on the edge of a bed going through some papers that were left by Dermot. There's a small knock on the door, and one of the shorter, lizard-like dragonborn enter the room and place a pot of tea on the bedside table. It smells of this robust, fruity, citrus smell in the air,
Hibiscus.
filling your nostrils. They nod to you and they leave.
I thank you for the tea.
The papers outline that he wants you to get the mine up and running. Similar things and a few ideas he has on mining. But you're the guy on the ground. You're the guy that's going to make the decisions pretty much. So as time goes by, do you partake in the tea?
Yeah, I guess.
All right. As you
It's wild tea.
take a sip of this tea, it's amazing. Very fruity and a nice robust citrus flavor. And by the time you finish the tea, you begin to get tired. You begin to get sleepy. And you blank out. Your eyes open. And there's a view as if from a bird. You can feel yourself coasting through the air around, looking down at a circle of people. But it's not just a circle. There's an outside circle and an inner circle. And between these two circles, there are 4 more circles of people around. And it seems to be moving. And the people seem to be moving. They seem to be doing some sort of dance, perhaps. It seems to be rhythmic. Each circle seems to be doing a different type of dance. It seems to be changing. In the middle, there's a group of about 12 people, all surrounding this one woman, all dressed in white. She has this white hair, and her face is heavily tanned and heavily wrinkled. As your view changes, you're looking in from the outside circle. If you look around from the height of somebody's knee, you look over, you can see somebody's leg, and you look up and you realize it must be an adult of some sort, and you're all in this dance together, moving around and around, and your view changes again to someone within the middle circle, looking at this old woman. She has her hands pointed out to the sky. The sky is dark and cloudy and black. It's no end in sight from one end of the horizon to the other. The clouds are curling and swirling in this blackness. And she calls out these words. It's muffled and fumbled. You can't really hear it in this whatever vision you're having here. But the clouds above begin to open up and begin to crack. And there's this circle of light that beams down and hits her. And you can see this, almost this wave of force push her hair back and her clothes, and it begins to push outwards, enveloping each and every one of you, all 12 in the middle. As you look around, all 12 that were once kneeling begin to stand up. And they all seem to be unique in some way. They all have these magnificently dressed weapons and these clothes of highly garnished trims of gold and silvers and diamonds and jewels and helmets and headbands. They seem to be adventurers. But as soon as this light encompasses all 12 of the adventurers, it blinks out. Earlon.
Yes.
In continuation to your dream, you again are walking on this ship. You can feel the rocking of the ship back and forth as you walk up the stairs, steadying yourself on the railing.
Looking past the railing and onto the seas within this dreamscape, is there any indication as to where in this world it would be in Fel'Than?
You're not sure. As you look on, it begins to get hazy and fuzzy as the sea seems to be rough. There seems to be a fog around, not a heavy fog, but enough that's blocking most of your vision to anything that could show any sort of reference. As you walk around the edges, holding onto the railing, you get to the aft castle, where there is somebody dressed in this long blue coat, with another coat beneath that trimmed in red. He's playing this wonderful, wonderful music, this old sea shanty. This old sea shanty that you catches your ear, and you can feel this pleasure build up inside you. As you go to speak, you hear these words, but it's more of a mumble. You can't really make it out. And this person turns around. It's this tan-faced figure, and he's holding an instrument. You look down at the instrument and roll perception.
Nat 18. So that's 22.
You recognize it. Across the stream that you're in, you can recognize that that's a Krellian hurdy-gurdy.
Very nice.
Finishes the song he was playing, and he flips it around in his hand, and he offers it to your grandfather, the person that you're seeing through right now. Your grandfather takes it, and then the dream fades out. Geillis, as you burst out from the flower hold in the kitchen, as you can hear drow all around you smashing in cupboards, screaming and yelling at the workers that run around. You can hear people, you can hear other elves screaming as they fall to the ground in pain. You push out from underneath the cupboard and you run towards the larder to the back door. As you go to push open the back door that happens to be propped open at the moment, there's a shadow. The shadow reaches down to grab you, but you leap. And as you leap past him, you can feel his hands kind of grab onto your back leg and slip off. And as you touch the grass, you realize that your hands have become paws, and they begin to lope off into the grass. As you run off up the high steeps of the caldera and off into the tree line, you look back at this massive castle, this white stone going from top to bottom, the windows a blaze of fire, smoke pouring out of the tops as one of the towers crumble in on itself. You turn and you run into the bushes. As you begin to run, you can hear just to the side of you in a tree, 3 or 4 bolts hit the tree, thwack, 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 and your eyes open. You take a breath, you look around, you're in the Manse of Gretch. There's Earlon, there's Tanith, there is Cereza there as well, and there's also the very large dragonborn chef, and she's smacking the spoon she has in the palm of her hand. Thwack, thwack, thwack. Earlon, you wake up. Cereza, you wake up. Tanith does not wake up.
Frank was with us too, wasn't he?
Frank does wake up. And she says, in common, "No wonder Dermot hired us. Look what you're doing."
Earlon is looking to the ground at the moment, and his palms are facing the ceiling, and he looks just confused for the most part, more than anything else. It just, the thought of what the Dragonborn chef said just passes through one elven ear and out the other. He's looking more baffled and confused than anything else.
As she looks around, nobody really gives her an answer. She says, "Using illicit substances. It's in the open. What are you doing? You're lucky Dermot hired us."
Do you know what it's
Yeah.
called? Geillis asks her if she knows what it's called. Because we didn't know. We just brewed it up.
Yes.
Right?
It's tea. Scary dragon lady.
I know what it is. It's illegal is what it is, and having it can be taken into the dark places,
The dark places.
in the bad air. You do something wrong around here too many times and you go there and you don't come back. Doing something like this will get you there on your first try. He's looking around very scolding like.
Cereza scooches back a couple of feet from where she's sitting.
Then she says, I hope you know I've alerted Dermot and he knows everything about it. And she walks off into the kitchen. The door swings open, swings shut.
Is there any of this tea left?
You look down, the teapot's gone.
Okay. No, I'm just. No, I'm thinking we should destroy the evidence.
After seeing everything in that dreamscape, Earlon would have kind of just snapped out of it for a moment, came back to and looked up to the ceiling for just a scant few seconds and got to his feet with a nod and just slowly opened the door to the manse and went out and kneeled in the front yard, I guess you could call it.
That little
So
garden
close.
area?
Yeah,
Yep, sounds good.
he's now kneeling out there with his eyes closed and his hands on his thighs and seemingly meditating.
Okay, as you're out there in the dirt, you can smell the richness of this dirt that's here, and you can hear somebody approach you, and they say, well, if you're just going to kneel there, take this and do something.
He doesn't open his eyes. He doesn't. It's like he's just doesn't even register whoever came up to him.
There's a bit of a pause, and he says, well, darling, you think he's a mute? And he hits you with the stick on the shoulder.
Could I roll a dexterity check to see if I can grab that?
Do you have blind sight?
Not blind sight.
With a disadvantage. sure.
Disadvantage,
Yeah.
yeah. Dexterity check of 10 with disadvantage.
You don't know how good his attack was. Well, I'll give him +2, and that's an 8, so that's a 10. So yeah, you can catch it.
So he catches it with his right hand and just grasps it, and then he lets go and places his hand back on his thigh. Says nothing.
I think he is a little soft. Then you hear a voice from away. Oh, you best let him be. And then back in the manse. Geillis, you wake up. You see Earlon walk outside. Cereza as well. You see the same thing.
I'm gonna get up and follow everyone
Okay.
outside.
Yep.
I'll just plop myself on the ground next to him and say, "Did you see that?"
He raises a brow, just moves his head in the direction of Geillis' voice, and see what? That's all that he says.
Well, it was like a dream. It was like a house burning, family being killed. She says quietly, so that nobody could hear unless they were right in the area.
There are people in that particular garden, but the garden's about 40 feet long, and you guys can hear this droning from down where the mines are. Kind of drowns out some sound, so you guys can be fairly confident they can't hear you.
Earlon just shakes his head slightly and just says, "Dreamt of the sea."
So it gives us different dreams then. She just kind of nods. She continues to sit there with him in the dirt,
Cereza?
pondering.
Well, I just got scolded by the scary dragon lady, so I'm gonna go and hide in my room.
Roll perception.
That is a 14.
14. 14.
I'm 90% sure Cereza's got the miraculous +0.
You can see.
Yep.
You can see Frank is sitting on the edge of his seat, just kind of looking through his pouch of gold. And you go upstairs. As you go upstairs, one of the doors open, and Ornul exits the room. He is no longer wearing his hat, his bowler. His shirt is no longer on. His sweater, his vest that goes underneath the jacket is unbuttoned. His cravat is missing. Half the shirt is undone from his pants, and you can see the thongs that lace up the pants. Only the top one is done up.
It's like scandalous.
I thought you told me they didn't wear underwear here.
A thong is
It's
a leather
string.
strap.
I'm aware.
We had a moment though. How do you not have a moment across the table?
Connected.
And
He's a very fabulous dwarf.
what was that perception you rolled there?
14.
14. If you look inside, you can see this short, stunted woman, this
Gail.
huge amount of red hair kind of casting over her bare chest, and this one dwarven leg sticking up her knee, kind of anchored upwards above the sheet. And she seems to be sleeping.
Okay.
And,
Actually,
and Ornul walks out into the hallway. You are thirsty, Ornul.
yes. I'm gonna try and find some water then. After that section.
Roll performance on that.
Oh,
We
no.
had to.
It's already been done.
Okay. I kind of
Did you
figured.
find something beautiful and all that? Is that?
No.
He's too scared.
No.
He's running.
No.
He's like, I'm out of here.
I'm hiding in my room. That wasn't my room, was it?
Oh, what's the door?
No.
Never mind.
Ornul was not drinking at the time. He had a room. He went to
Okay,
his
I go to my room. I close and lock the door.
God. The door is closed and locked. The room seems to be cleaned, immaculately cleaned. No dust anywhere. There seems to be a bit of food on your side table. The torches are lit. It's nice and cozy.
It's not Nonny's food, but I guess I'll eat while hiding.
This food definitely seems to be prepared by one of the underlings. The pieces of fruit are cut up a little too big. The cheese a little bit too small.
No, he
Still
doesn't.
eats it.
No, he doesn't skip all the cheese.
Ravim, you wake up. You fell asleep with your clothes on. The cup of tea you had is kind of still in your hand, kind of on the bed. And
Was it
you
true?
also, you guys are aware of that there's the disappearance of all the other humans that came back from Delron, as well as the few dwarves that hung around. I think about half the dwarves went off to other families, people that they knew in the shears, instead of having to hang out with a bunch of humans and random people that are going to get them killed. So those people have disappeared.
Is there a list of rules around here somewhere?
There's a lot of things we're not allowed to do.
I'm sure there's a safe word somewhere.
Meatloaf.
Spaghetti.
Meatloaf.
Spaghetti! Remember?
Yeah, meatloaf. I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that.
As you guys are outside in the garden, you guys can hear this
Sharing a romantic evening under the moon.
Drinking alone.
this jostling
Masturbating.
of this clatter of jars and this tinging of some heavy metal object. As you look back, I'll get you to roll perception, Earlon and Geillis.
I'm gonna do mine at disadvantage because he has his eyes closed.
23.
23,
18 with disadvantage.
18 with disadvantage.
I nudge him when something happens.
You guys see these short, stunted dwarven legs. You can just make out the edges of about half dozen shawls of different color underneath these boxes. And you can see a large frying pan hanging on her back.
I look at Earlon.
As Nonny waddles in from the entrance to the mine. Nonny, you have just been back to Galewin's house. There's a small stone, basically cellar in behind one of the districts. And she was not home. She was not here. There was a note left saying that she would track you down where you said you were staying at before, which was the Manse of Gretch. And you had gone out for equipment, and
The old Gretch mine.
at one point you found yourself cooking for dozens and dozens of people. And then you remembered you had somewhere to be. You got your equipment, you got your supplies, went there and found a note, and then had decided to check out. Maybe she went to the Manse of Gretch. And now you are here.
Now I'm here with boxes, did you say?
Yeah, there
Boxes
seems
of
to
what do
be
I have?
seems to be more spices. There seems to be a
So just
large.
buy back everything I sold. I just collected all. Oh, this is mine, and this is mine, and that's mine. Let's go.
You have
She didn't
this
pay for it. She was
large
doing
Yeah.
goose hung over your shoulder,
As you do.
and it seems to be a case of some sort of brown liquid.
That's
It's
dangerous.
the goblin swill.
Stock.
I was thinking more tea, but
Goose stock.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you guys hear that? Earlon, with your 18 with disadvantage, you know the sound of that iron pot, that cast iron tang. You know who it is.
Make bad choices.
That's Nonny. So Earlon finally opens his eyes and sees the colored shawls, and he takes a breath in and almost as if he's trying to suppress some sort of emotion. He gets to his feet and he pinches the bridge of his nose and seemingly pinches whatever it was that was bugging him and throws it away.
Did you just throw your bad luck in their dirt?
Yeah. And
Oh, dear.
he opens his eyes and looks over to Nonny and he offers a hand to Geillis so she can get up easier.
Thank you.
What a gentleman.
Roll perception with advantage.
That's a 17.
17.
I'm not wearing my hideous clothes.
She is no longer wearing those human traveler's clothes. She seems to be wearing this somewhat flowy summer dress that is quite shapely, and you can see this fairly large bump around her abdomen. You can see that kind of silhouette behind the lights that are posted inside the garden as she walks out of the garden.
Nonny toddles over to Earlon, hands him all the things that she's holding.
Strength saving throw.
Disadvantage.
Oh, yeah, right, he can't carry anything.
I'm gonna make it a
He's a
disadvantage.
softie.
Here goes the booze.
Oh.
10 or natural 20. So it's 9. No wait, 11.
Okay, see, 9 would be bad.
So 11.
You kind of do the you gotta have a flashback of the days when you met Ravim, when the first time you were handed a whole bunch of boxes, and you kind of bounced backwards up on one foot. Almost for a second you were gonna lose it, then planted it, and it just came down, and you see the boxes kind of clatter back and forth as you stand them still, and you can hear clink, 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 clink.
So now Earlon's view is obstructed because Nonny handed him everything that she was
Every
carrying.
single thing, including the dead goose.
So Errol, it's slumped over his right shoulder, and Earlon doesn't know what it is. It just feels like a weird thing.
Corpse.
Yeah. So he has boxes around his face,
What
and
is
he's just like, and he says, "Good to see you too, Nonny."
And now that Nonny has handed off everything to Earlon, she toddles over to Geillis and just hugs her belly.
Just pat her on the head because I'm a little bit taller.
Puts her head on her belly and hugs her.
Where's the wagon?
Yeah, there's a quite difference there. She's definitely hugging Geillis's belly.
My biggest problem is remembering people's races and their heights.
Not even
Yes,
the
I try to imagine it and be like, oh yeah, because she's short. That makes perfect sense.
But also
It's beautiful.
belly.
Yeah.
Nonny.
You can see Earlon's legs start to buckle a little bit. Wagon, where's the wagon? Where's the wagon? Can't see the wagon.
We're oblivious. We're having a
I'm
moment.
having a moment with
I'm just so glad she's back because
As
babies.
beside you guys,
And Earlon falls over.
as I was just gonna say, as you guys say that, Geillis and Nonny, you don't hear it. You're too immersed in your greeting, but you can hear this come to a stand, and you can hear, "Oh, somebody get that!" You can hear this thud of feet hit the ground and run over, and somebody kind of gets the other side of the boxes that you're carrying and takes the weight off, and he says, "Oh, I got you there. I'll just bring it over this way."
Okay.
Now I'll get you to re-roll your save,
Alright.
and I'll roll one for him too. I just gotta check. That's 10 plus. Okay, that's good enough.
I got worse than I did last time.
No.
10 instead of 11.
Wait, 10s. You made the pass. That's good. So you guys get it. It's gonna tip. It's gonna tip, and one of the boxes does fall off and hit on its side, but it's one of the boxes with spices in it. It didn't smash. And all of the boxes kind of clattered to a standstill on the edge of this wagon.
So Earlon like sheepily puts the boxes up onto the ledge, and he pulls his fingers out, and the bottom box clamps his fingers. Ow, 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 ow.
It's all right. Just hold on there. One of the dwarfs lifts him up.
He shakes his hand off.
I think we found one of the prospectors here. The guy up on the wagon laughs. He says, speaking of that, where the hell are we going?
Earlon looks around the cart confused. I don't know where are we go? Where are you going? I was setting those there because I was handed the boxes.
He reaches into his leather thing, and he's got a piece of paper, and he flips it, and he looks. He says, "I'm looking for Ravim."
Earlon nods and looks back to Nonny and Geillis still having their moment, and he's like,
It's a long moment.
he just holds up a finger to just signal one moment. 1 sec. He opens up the manse's door and calls out up the stairs, "Ravim! People in a wagon here want to see you."
You can hear that peal through the house. You're awake.
Oh,
They asked for you by name.
Well, I tidy myself up and head downstairs.
Okay. So while you're doing that and you're coming down, Ravim, you can see one of the dwarven ladies. There's also 3 children on this wagon. Jump down and come over to Geillis, and she goes, "Oh, look, how far are you along?"
What did we say it was?
I think you guys have been traveling for, I think it was 47 weeks.
But I think we said
It was like 2-year term.
32 or something, so like 32 weeks.
Yeah, I think we said
Of
you were
the 2
32.
years.
Of the 2
Yeah.
years, yeah.
I think you're like just butting into the second trimester,
Or
something like that.
we're making this up as we go.
Yeah. You guys think you were. Dad's puppets.
I just pat her on the head and say, "Oh, a little ways."
Then, Ravim, you can see Earlon at the door. Door's open. As you can see, peeking out the door, you can catch the sight of another wagon just coming in down as the door opens at its most widest point. Cereza, you also hear some of this traffic going on. Earlon yelling upstairs. At this time, Ornul, you have dressed yourself in your fancies again.
Well, ooh, the fancies.
And as you're walking downstairs, you can see Tanith kind of walk by you.
Just leave her in bed?
Apparently.
Random lady that nobody knows.
As you're coming back, you can see Tanith walking into his room, and his eyes are bloodshot, and he's kind of slumped over. And before you get to say anything, he just kind of puts his hand in the air, and the door shuts behind him. And the snoring begins.
Prolific. He is prolific. In the snoring and the snorting.
The snoring and the snoring.
The snorts and the snores.
And physical abuse towards Earlon.
Yeah.
Only
We
when
don't
I'm
talk
playing him, though.
We don't talk about that.
So that's where we are. Where you guys were either in the manse, Ravim's coming down. Tanith went to sleep for the night. Frank is... Earlon, you can see Frank, he's kind of sitting there, he kind of rubs his eyes and kind of looks a little disheveled, but kind of gets up and walks outside too. Just kind of nods to you. Tips the hat a bit as he puts it on going outside. Oh, Frank got a new hat.
Ooh,
And a
fancy.
bandana.
And a bandana.
After I burned all of his hair off.
Yeah.
Half of it.
Excuse me, what?
Half of
I
Frank's head's
may
not
have hit him
bald.
with a hellish rebuke when he tried to cut me in half.
Plus he was possessed by
Oh.
an
He
evil
was just by
creature.
ant people.
Yeah, Geillis ripped off part of her shirt and made him a bandana, which then travels with him to another universe.
Earlon would have held the door open for Frank and Ravim as they went outside to.
Does Ravim finally notice me?
It's, you have to roll a natural one not to notice. But you can roll it if you like.
Because he hasn't been here, so it hasn't come up. But
Yeah.
I can't wait for Taylor.
Yeah, that's not an at one.
Okay, so you notice that she's definitely looking on the light side of pregnant.
And wearing proper clothes.
Yeah, I'm not wearing stolen baggy ass clothes anymore.
Yay!
That lady wouldn't let me leave her shop looking like that.
That's right.
Oh, is this
Probably
the
for the
fine,
best.
the fine dressed lady?
Yeah.
Yep.
We went back to
So you said that I could hear some of what's going on.
Yep, you can hear the just people. You hear Earlon yelling upstairs, and you can hear Tanith go in his room, and people moving about.
Is there a window to the outside?
I'd say you have a window to the. Let's make it truly random. Window on the front or back side. You have a window on the front side.
Okay, so I can see the wagons looking. I look out. I can see the wagons. I can see Nonny.
Yes, you can.
I am
Absolutely.
heading outside.
Okay. Door bursts open. Right in front of you, Ornul. This time it cuts you off.
Well, you watch where you're going, for Christ's
Nonny's
sake!
back.
I'm assuming I'm.
This is good news.
you know Nonny.
Yeah.
I'm coming in blind to this whole thing, so I have no idea what the hell's
She-
going on.
She is the most fantastic cook you have ever tasted the food of.
So
She is not the
Dermot,
scary dragon
Dermot
lady.
and Nonny, not friends. Earlon has a love-hate relationship because she's ruining his life. And everyone else generally is pretty excited that
I was
Nonny's
a
back.
dog when she met me.
That's true, she was a dog. I also thought she was a baby murderer for a while, but
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
but now she's giving me babies, so it's fine.
She's jeopardizing Earlon's morality.
In
Oh, okay.
every single
I mean, you do a
possible-
dead goose hangover, she'll learn it.
That is
Well,
true.
Not
I
anymore.
love strong
No,
morality, man. I love it.
I did make him eat meat,
And then murder someone.
vegetarian,
I
and I
also
actually
roasted my dead husband who died on top of me.
That's gross.
he also did kill someone because of me.
Yeah, I was chasing somebody and there was a rainy night in a village with muddy. Streets.
And Nonny was wandering through the
And-
streets with a hot cup of tea. And Earlon tried, yeah, basically. And Earlon tried to save him and ended up killing him.
Yeah,
Oh.
Great.
It's a pretty
Epic slice in the
magical,
mud.
pretty magical.
elbow through the
And,
ribcage.
yeah, kill
just-
Oh,
Yeah.
gross.
It was great.
Great. Well, anyway, so now that I'm roughly caught up and I know that I should know these people.
She's batshit.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Yeah,
She's
she's
nuts.
wild.
But
Never knows
all,
shit.
all,
Whatever,
all
she
across the
hasn't
board
been killed
accepted. That whatever she does is normal.
It's fine.
It's
It's fine.
normal.
She hasn't tried to kill any of us yet, so just stay on her good side. And
We'll roll with that. No
Don't
pun
insult
intended.
her cooking and you're fine.
Oh, I don't even care if you insulted cooking. She doesn't. She just makes the food. She
Wait until you find out there's somebody else in your kitchen now. I never had
They were. I think they were already in the kitchen when I was here last.
There's more of them though now.
No,
There was
a couple of
there
dragons.
wasn't the scary dragon lady.
different
Oh,
dragon
it's-
born.
Wasn't this scary?
God, I'm sure that there was somebody in the
That's
kitchen.
what's
when I
There
was
were
here.
different ones.
I don't
There
know
were
what
any
it-
helpers, but no.
I just know
Wasn't
you do
that
not
Tana?
go. You do not go on her keep. What?
Dana?
No,
No.
that's the scary dragon Nan.
Oh, okay.
Nonny's child.
This character.
Okay.
Nonny loves him.
Not really.
That's her pet.
She's a dog.
That's her.
Just so you're aware. She's a dwarf and he's a Ryan, and that just
It's just weird. Okay.
Everything about
Nonny's
Nonny is
back.
weird.
Once I get Nonny back into the kitchen, she can make
You
the
can go
scary.
back in the
She
kitchen?
can make the scary dragon lady go away.
Ah, gotcha.
Nonny also has a magical frying pan.
Scary dragon.
A magical frying pan.
Her weapon of choice is a frying pan.
No full
Only
Rapunzel with it.
purely because for the first how many episodes, Nonny was the only person who actually killed someone. Because in her very first, in her episode 0, she brained a guy with a frying pan in the alleyway because he was mugging her strangers. They weren't even her cohorts at that time.
Just randoms. Just
But she
randoms.
just adopts people, 7 foot tall dragon men as her children. It's
Just random maternal instinct.
there's no reason. Well, I mean, there's lots of reasons, but there's no
Oh, yeah.
So,
rhyme reason.
Ravim, the information that you got upstairs from Ornul, one of the things said specifically to make sure Nonny was informed she was working in mine number 3.
That's why I would go like this. Remember free.
You notice that Dermot is not here right now.
Dermot.
You mean Dermot left the instructions, not on all.
Dermot left the instructions for Ravim. Clear that up.
Kale does that.
Too much. Too much.
It's okay, some of us pay attention, so they've figured it out yet.
I mean, like I said,
I
I'm
don't.
literally
I'm just
coming
like,
into
yeah,
this.
that's fine. That sounds good
But
to
you
me.
should catch it.
I just gloss over
too.
the names and
Yeah.
instructions have been left. She
Yeah, right.
has
It doesn't matter.
It's the legally blind leading the actually blind.
Like I said, I'm coming in completely blind here, so I'm. just
There's a
kinda
lot.
like-
There's a lot of history to this, actually.
Yeah.
This game's been going on for a little while now.
13 episodes. This is,
Yeah, so I got a lot of back content to catch up on.
Just pop it on my ear.
Start watching the, start listening to the things.
Go on YouTube.
Yep.
You'll hear them.
Oh yeah.
You'll learn some shit.
we're a little rough at the start. You guys are out there. You guys can see there's a few more wagons coming down the way. And there's another wagon there with Nonny, Geillis, and Earlon's at the top of the stairs to the manse.
Earlon would have left the manse and held the door open for anybody who was coming out. So he's at the front entrance.
Alright, Cereza bursts through the door.
Yep, well, if they are still hugging, it is now a group hug.
Okay.
We had stopped. You can have
Did we stop? I don't think we stopped.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think I continued. Maybe
What-
I've stopped. I was like,
Yeah, I'm hugging your belly. Remember,
I'm just standing there.
it's not just about you anymore.
And then there's another crash into the side of you guys as there's another warming embrace from Cereza.
Now I'm awkwardly standing there with 2 people hugging me.
And Nonny's just, yeah.
And the worst part is they're not even hugging you.
That's true, actually, kinda.
I'm mostly hugging Nonny,
Yeah,
you're
you
just there.
Oh,
And I'm mostly hugging the
The lump.
unborn children. But also a little bit you. We've kind of
We got
gone.
through it.
We did some
Got through
stuff.
it. Yeah, we
Once
had
I
a talk in
figured
the
out you
kitchen.
weren't a baby murderer.
Oh,
Things
nice.
were
There you go.
There's
It's 6:40.
There's a scary dragon lady, she took over your kitchen.
And her food tastes funny.
Their food doesn't taste as good as yours.
It's because it's not
It
made
makes
with
me
love.
kind of nauseous, if I'm honest.
Oh, well, that's gotta change. We have 3. Do I know there's 3? I know there's 3, right?
No, because I don't know there's 3 yet.
Oh, shit.
Or 2. Like
No,
there's
we
me
did.
and-
Wasn't there the whole thing? Oh,
She knows a little bit, but I don't think I even know.
Was that not actually announced?
No,
I
I
don't
didn't
think
tell
so.
anybody that
Because
I.
there was that
that there
whole
were
thing
three.
about the
That-
3
yeah.
spirits in one or whatever. Okay, so that wasn't actually
I think
just
it was only
okay, I
2.
take that back.
It was only 2.
Rewind.
Starting here.
We have
You know this
2
is
mouths
baby.
to feed here. You're eating for 2. I will feed you for 4. We'll make it happen. Let's go.
So, the wagoneer at the top one kind of looks over, looking at everybody in turn. He sees you guys having a conversation at the bottom of his wagon. He sees Earlon and dropped all those boxes on his wagon and ran off. He looks up and he sees Earlon opening the door, and Ravim steps out. He looks, squints a little bit, and he says, "Ravim,
Yes.
where are we going?"
I believe mine 3.
Aye. He looks back at the rest of them. He says, he hollers down this big booming voice, "Head down to mine 3. Pass it on down the line." And they begin to go. You hear "aye," and it echoes out through the entrance. You don't know if it's echoes or actually just people calling out down the line.
Okay, Earlon will call after him, just with the foreknowledge, because he wasn't exactly sure if he cleared everything out. He just calls out, just be careful. If anything happens, please send one of you running back.
They know it.
There's a bit of a bug infestation.
The kids look at each other. The wife looks at the husband, and the husband hits the reins, and they move on. This
With all the naughty
I
stuff.
was gonna say Nonny very quickly before that happens. Lets go of Geillis, leaves Cereza holding a shawl, grabs a goose and a handful of spices, and walks. Starts toddling towards. She gotta feed people now.
That's right. That's right.
Earlon
And starts toddling towards the manse
Earlon just shakes his head looking at the poor goose's corpse.
as she's ripping feathers out and throwing them behind her.
Geillis looks a
Middle
little
of the
green.
just down the as she's going, just
So where are you heading, Nonny?
towards the manse.
Okay, so Nonny's heading towards the manse.
I follow Nonny.
Forever.
I want to be there in case Nonny needs help with this very
Sure, I'm gonna hang back a little. I'm following, but at a distance.
In case.
Okay, Earlon.
Earlon will also be following along to go back to the manse.
Okay, with Earlon, or with Geillis, or with Nonny and Cereza.
The last time I completely derailed the plan because I stood and waited for a train that wasn't coming. So I just wanted to be prepared for the things that happen if
There's
you
no
follow
such
Nonny.
thing as derailing this time to start again.
It's
Where you
true.
go?
This
Where
is
do you
true.
guys want to go?
Evens,
With some
I derailed their plan.
gentle
Hi,
pushing.
that's-
Evens, it's going to be with
He already
Nonny
went in
and-
though, didn't he?
Who?
I thought Earlon already went in.
No,
He
he
might
went
have
to the
yelled
door. It's kind
Oh,
of
gotcha.
up there.
in between. So Evens, he'll come in with Nonny and Cereza. Odds with Geillis. Odds, I'm with Geillis.
Okay, so Ravim, Nonny, Cereza approach the door and begin to walk in.
Walk to the kitchen
Okay,
with my frying pan and my goose.
you open the kitchen door.
I whispered to Earlon, that poor goose.
That poor dragon
I
lady.
whispered to Earlon, that poor goose.
You're gonna eat it in about an hour and you're gonna be really happy.
So you see this as you open the door. You see this large green dragonborn woman standing just about as tall as Tanith. The same long snout with the teeth sticking out, the long tail with the spikes down the sides, and she's got her arms crossed. And you can see this large wooden spoon just kind of sitting out, and she's kind of tapping on her shoulder, and it's just whack, 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 and you can see about 10 other similar dragonborn, not similar to her, all similar to themselves. They have more of a salamander look, no tails, and more humanoid complexion and features. And she says, "What are you doing here?"
And Nonny holds out a goose with half the feathers missing.
Now I was told that you were going to be down in mine number 3. And I
Nobody-
wasn't going to have to worry about nothing.
You don't have to worry about anything, but nobody told me about mines.
She walks out by you and she goes to Ravim. She says, as you guys can hear the door swing open and this thumping, just like Tanith is walking through the house, thump, thump, thump. Comes to the door, looks at Ravim and she says, "Ravim, you're the one in charge. She's not supposed to be in my kitchen."
Can't the two of you share a kitchen for a little bit?
It's
Don't
Nonny's kitchen.
Oh, do you say that about
I put myself around
And
with Nonny in between me and where she went.
You actually cut her off.
Yep.
Great. Hey,
We're still outside, right?
That's inspiration
Yes,
for
I'm gonna need it.
telling off a dragon.
Nice.
I'm gonna need it.
roll an intimidation.
8. It's Nonny's
It's hard to
kitchen.
be scary when you're hiding behind a dwarf. It's
Oh,
literally
how
like down
tall-
on our hands and knees.
How tall is
Like 4 feet.
Okay, so I'm sort of.
Just picking up stuff
I'm
over
a foot
Sean's
up.
butt.
I'm behind the shawl.
I had one in the shawl.
As
Impenetrable force.
Yes.
she glares at you, Cereza, that glare of a predator that's licking their lips to eat prey. She continues, and she says, "We at the Quiet Ones are paid quite well. We follow the rules. We expect you to follow the rules in turn. This is the rule. This is my kitchen. No one else is to be in there." Now, if she's to stay in there, I am to leave. This is a choice. And she looks on everybody. She says, I'll put it upon all of ya. We know what it
Comes up behind the shawl.
That's it. It's behind the shawl. One hand up. Bye bye.
Yeah. Oh man.
As nobody responds in a certain amount of time, she does this dragon snort.
Heard that one.
She flicks her spoon, does this little spin, puts it in its holster, and she does these 3 loud claps. And it's like thunder going off in the room, almost if she used the thaumaturgy spell or something like that. And it's this boom, boom, boom. And then it only takes a few short seconds. You can see all the other dragonborn she was with kind of funnel out of the kitchen. A few of them come from downstairs, a few of them come from the back, and they're all carrying equipment. And she walks out without a word.
Earlon
Are you not
says,
are they not staying for dinner?
"Ah."
Are your friends leaving?
In Draconic, Earlon waves and says, farewell to them as they leave.
Probably pissed them off.
Yeah, way to go.
There might be one of the dragonborn underlings that look at you. Maybe one. The rest of them, their eyes stay straight ahead, and they don't look at anything else.
Jeez.
And,
Yeah. Oh,
Ornul, you're from around here.
Yep.
Roll history.
That is 15.
15, you've heard of them. This is a very highly paid cleaning, kitchen, and maid service that keep their lips shut about whatever they see inside, whatever they're doing. They keep secrets. It's pretty much what they're paid for.
And I'm just seeing them like filing their way out.
And they leave as you guys watch this. It's weird sight. From the step, you can see this line of dwarves and dwarven children, and families come in where there's these very starkly clad, or I guess that's the word, dragonborn kind of walking up beside them, going the other way. Dwarves coming in, dragonborn going out. It's very iconic. Well, Nonny,
Yeah.
the kitchen is yours.
Kitchen is mine. I'm plucking the goose. I'm rattling around and opening, closing cupboards. They've rearranged everything, so now I gotta fix it.
They made it alphabetical. Stupid,
Gross.
right?
Why would you do that?
Alphabetical. You have to do it by smell.
Right. And based on what meals you're cooking, meal time of the day, you know what I mean? Like you don't put your frying pans in stock pots, it doesn't work. That's
So-
fine, we'll fix it.
Nonny begins to cook. Everything seems to settle in at the massive Gretch. Ravim, Earlon, anybody who has any integral part in the mine is going to take a run down into Mine 3 and see what's going on. What they've set up is you guys can see that there are several families that have taken up housing in the second set of houses that were in Mine number 3. You guys can see they have one of the arms in operation, and it seems to be clearing out that large landslide at the far end of Mine number 3. It seems to be quite an efficient machine. It just looks like the arm of a backhoe, is that what it's called? But it seems to be on this very small structure that seems to mount itself into the ground. So it kind of repivots, unmounts itself, and then moves somewhere, mounts itself again, and then just kind of moves instead of a giant machine. And you guys can see that they seem to be well trained and well skilled at what they're doing. They seem to be putting the mine in action. There seems to be ore mounting in crates with wheels on them that seem to be filling up at a reasonable rate.
What are they mining?
The ore from the surrounding area. If anybody would like to run a check for that,
I stayed in the kitchen. I'm not actually down there. Just like-
that's right.
I am enjoying the almost dragon-free house.
Okay.
Running around going, look at no dragons!
You can hear.
I can be in the kitchen!
You're hearing Nonny click and clang in the kitchen as things are flipping, things are turning, things are bubbling, and it's odd in the background. This just on the very back of everything. This locomotive snoring.
Still a dragon.
Yeah, only one. Only one.
It's the one we like.
Only good one.
Would that be history?
Good one.
Is he really a good one?
Or like knowledge?
Yeah, history,
Does
because I
not
think history
scare
is
me
calculated.
as much.
And you're not a
He hasn't
dwarf, so
really
yeah.
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
history.
Any reason.
quiet.
Yeah.
I rolled a
He
15 on the
sleeps
dice,
most
so
of the
soft
time.
20.
Okay,
And you can
sounds
kill
good.
the elf.
You can see that the ore they're taking out seems to have different specks of definite some gemstones in there, and little maybe some streaks of gold, perhaps of some metal, maybe platinum. You're not quite sure, but it definitely seems to be in this area mostly gemstones and whatnot. But this is also the fill that had fallen in from the far end.
Gotcha. Earlon doesn't. He just observes. He doesn't do that. He's too weak. Do anything with
Very low strength, I'm guessing.
9.
It's
If there's anything,
Species bonus.
any questions you guys have about the mine, it's pretty much going as it is right now. You guys can do some downtime stuff. Ravim, you haven't been here in a while. You want to make some scrolls?
That's part of it, yeah.
Yeah, part of it. Okay,
We gotta go
so
back for our clothes too.
this is also
Your
true.
clothes. You better go back and get those.
Yeah.
Mhm.
fancy pants.
From
Yes. My very fancy pants.
the shop dress man.
Every girl's crazy about him.
It's true. Except Nonny, she didn't care about anything.
So, what do you guys want to do?
Earlon, since everything seems to be stable in line 3, he's just gonna find like a clear spot where he can start training.
Okay,
That's about it.
sounds good. Then Ravim, you'll head back up to the manse. Okay, you guys probably put in about maybe half a day in there of work, organizing things, getting the people in charge and
Correct.
everything like that. You do notice that you only got, I suppose people are still trickling in right now, so you wouldn't know at this particular time. So that's it. Everything seems to be going well. And you met with some of the higher ups, with the dwarves, some of the captains, so to speak. And you guys make your way back. Earlon, you hang around.
Yep.
Okay.
He's just training, basically.
Okay. So while you're down there, Earlon, you notice a lot of these dwarves looking at you and your training and whatnot. Then one of them does come up to you and they say, "Are you trying to build a little muscle? I see." Kind of points at your arm.
He lets out a sigh and he says, it's difficult often with the travel that I'm doing. It's needed. I was on a farm for a decade thereabouts, but I did more of the sales than anything else. So yes, I am hoping to build muscle with body weight exercise.
Oh, you ain't gonna do it like that. He says, come with me.
He closes his eyes and just nods. Very well. And he follows the dwarf.
You guys walk all the way to the other side, to where the mound has come down from the wall. And you can see about off to your right, about 20 feet, the arm is digging in and pulling pieces of rock out and filling whole crates, whole carts full of stone and refuse, and all in one scoop. Then you can see the left side, there's about 3 or 4 dozen other miners with shovels. And as you draw your eyes back to the guy, he has the shovel in your hand, holding out to your face, kind of upwards like that. And he says, "This is the best way to do it. And you'll work your way and make your pay."
He takes the shovel and looks at what everybody else is doing, just going at it, right? So he nods and remembers all the time on the farm that he spent initially helping until he got into an argument with his grandfather and beaten up by his grandfather. And then he went to do the sales.
That is how those arguments tend to go.
So he kind of stretches himself out and cracks, and then he just starts shoveling.
Geillis and Cereza and Nonny in the kitchen. Okay, listen, at this point there is no help. Dermot fired the other staff, hired the new staff, and now the staff is gone. So it's just you guys and the manse now.
Ravim's gonna be in so much trouble.
Retro.
I'll
No,
help out in the
Raven's
kitchen.
Raven is going to say Nonny came back. And that's going to be the only excuse he needs for
Dermot
Dermot.
hates me.
Yes.
Dermot and I hate
but
each other.
but the fact that you came back is going to be all the explanation that is needed.
That's if Dermot comes back.
Fair.
Oh,
I would be
If you don't, that ain't our problem.
Not my circus, not my monkeys.
So it's,
But my kitchen.
I'll get you to roll with advantage your performance for your.
That's a nat 20 plus 3.
And this is what I mean. This is what I love about this game. Of course.
And I'm not there.
And you're not there, but it's okay.
I feel
Oh, might. Oh my God, that's right. You might.
feel a shift in the wind.
Wow, eh?
Wow.
Beautiful. Excellent. Natural 20. So, what are you cooking for them tonight, Nonny?
Goose.
That's right, I said goose. You got goose, that's right.
Some glazed goose. This is a festive occasion. We have children. Like literal
Now,
children.
you've been-
Actual children on the way.
And you've been up there. You've seen the decorations for Haldera. This is Haldera
Christmas
now.
time too.
It's our
'Cause we're having
Christmas.
Oh, we're having a Christmas goose. Okay, this is
That was beautiful because you didn't even know.
potatoes. Don't even know anything.
Potatoes!
Potatoes.
Diddly do
Potatoes. This is even better. Oh my God, it's Christmas. And yeah, glazed goose and
Carrots.
There's a big bag of these golden brown turnip
there's all these nice turnip that I bought. These really fancy to the
that
$5.
haven't
How
been
many
touched.
turnip can I get for $5? We're cooking the shit out of that turnip.
One platinum get me.
And we're gonna have sugared plums, and we're gonna have all kinds of cakes, and we're doing it all.
Okay,
We're going
and Geillis and Cereza, you guys are helping?
I'll help if she'll allow it.
just stay on my way.
Alright, so I'll get you guys to roll
You guys-
roll performance with advantage. Cereza, you're on dessert.
You're on dessert. What am I doing?
Same thing, performance with advantage.
No, what am I
Whatever
cooking?
you go.
Don't.
The root vegetables?
No.
Oh,
not the
thank
root
God
vegetables.
for
You can't
advantage.
fuck up a potato though.
Oh.
That is 25.
Wow.
Woo!
Nice.
Tastes
19. 19 on the dice.
4 and a 9.
Okay,
What are we? What is those performance?
charisma.
So
Very bottom.
11.
Okay. She's
She's
boiling
slow.
them.
She's
boiling
a
them.
little slow.
Yeah, she got them
baby
cut up.
brain.
They're peeled. She's boiling
That's
them.
fine. I'll keep
She
an eye on
didn't
that
really
one.
cut them up though before she boiled them, so it's going to be a bit of a long boil.
That's fine. We got
And
time.
you're cooking a goose, right?
We're making a goose. Yeah, we're okay.
Peking goose.
Is it braised?
Meanwhile, your cakes look beautiful. Yay!
I hold up my potato skins.
And potatoes look great too.
Celebration.
You guys are
No more
You guys,
scary dragon lady.
spend most of the time making the goose. Everything seems to be going quite well. Earlon?
Yep.
I'll get you to roll a strength saving throw, please.
Oh Lord, disadvantage?
Nope.
That is going to be a 13.
13. Alright, you're plugging away. You're beginning to sweat. You're feeling it. You kind of
Muscles.
take off your the top part of your robe there. And you look beside you to the lefty and to the righty, and there's these dwarves, and they're just plugging away, going faster than you are, and there's no sweat. You can see their muscles, or the veins are just beating their muscles all the way up and down. There's these blue things, they're tense and they're red, and they're shoveling. And you don't know how they're keeping up, but I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw now.
Sure.
Dies.
You gotta get up.
What?
You gotta get up every time I ask you to roll the dice.
Dies.
Oh no. Oh, that's a 4. So
Yeah,
that's
he
roll
just
3.
keels over.
It's actually 3 because I have -1 to my con saves.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, fuck.
Oh. Fuck, everyone's stats sucks.
And
So,
That's why you're working on them.
As you're going, you can feel you're starting to breathe heavy and heavy. You can feel this pain in the back of your chest and the very bottom of your lungs as you go, and then you hear this shrill whistle in the back, this whistle that echoes out through, and you see every other dwarf beside you just pick up the shovel and jam it in one last time, and they let it go, and you can see them. Oh, well, I guess it's time to be eaten. And they all kind of turn around and start walking back to where all the houses are set inside of the stone.
Earlon shoves the shovel back in, basically in rhythm with them, and holds his chest. And he's just start walking.
One of them comes up beside you and hands you a flask of water. You say, "Hey, drink this."
And he uncaps the flask and he just takes a sniff of it really quick. It's water.
It's
Nothing.
water.
He just gulps it like a friggin' fish. Just
And immediately throws it back up.
Yeah, I'll get you. I'll get you rolling that off. That's all the way over there.
that's all good.
On the table too.
You want to put the edge,
Right
the
here.
edge here or something? Like right under
I
here?
mean, I'm sure Heidi doesn't bite unless you ask.
She might.
No comment.
2 total. Okay. So this first bout with the shovel and the shoveling of this really heavy stone just took you by surprise, and you took a big drink and you filled your stomach, and as soon as your stomach got filled with water, it came right back out again everywhere.
Oh.
You can hear the dwarves around you laughing and giggling, and you can hear one of them speak up above everybody and say, "Well, he gave it his best." And everybody seems to chatter down, and then you feel someone pat you on the back and offer their hand.
He wipes his mouth with one hand and takes the hand with the other.
He says, "My name's Trogar. You did good. Why don't you come with me and get some food?"
Earlon just nods. He just says, "Thank you, Trogar." And he just nods. He doesn't even say his name back. He just goes.
He guides you to one of the houses. You have to walk up this really skinny stair place that's kind of set along the wall, and you get to another set of houses. He takes you into the second one, and as you walk in, he points to this other dwarven female, or this dwarven female, and he says, "That's Mesra, and my 3 children are over there. Have a seat."
Thank you. And he would be speaking in Dwarven. Earlon would.
Okay.
After leaving the halls of Karath, he couldn't shake the habit.
Never going back to
No, he couldn't. He has to speak Dwarven to these dwarves, so that's what he's doing. He's speaking in Dwarven.
So you can, they sit you down at one of these really small tables, kind of built out of stone, out of the wall, and she brings over meager rations, and the Mesra, the wife, says, "Oh, I'm sorry, but there was supposed to be a cook down here, but I suppose it's another one of those things. We'll have to band together. But this is what we could put together. My apologies." She moves off, and there's a kitchen maybe 10 feet away in the same room.
He nods. I understand.
It's mostly dried meats, hard cheeses, a little bit of bread.
He eats the cheese and bread. He leaves the meat for everybody else.
And they do eat. You guys enjoy it. It's pretty well prepared. The cheese and the bread, that is. And one of the dwarf then speaks up and he says, "You're not going to gain any muscle without just eating bread and cheese. You're not an infant, boy. You need some of this. Get some protein in you."
Can't partake for religious reasons.
You're going to have a hard time making up that mass that you want.
I'll make do.
Well,
Nonny's the only one who could make me eat meat. She's back at the manse. Cooking.
and you're here eating with us?
Meat.
He nods.
Well, call us painted by Feldera.
He just nods and then furrows his brow and squints and then just shakes it off.
You guys have a wonderful supper. It's very dry, cold cuts and cheese and bread. But they tell you about themselves. They come from a lower part in the bad air, where they've been waiting for work for a little bit of a while. There's consistently work in these places, but waiting for a good contract to come along, like this one perhaps. They've kind of, this is what they do. They move from mine to mine because it's so expensive to own places. So they're very happy to have this kind of employment.
He'd give them just a small tidbit of his background, you know, how he came over from the grasslands of Grinhelda and was living in Delron for a while and is now in, he was living in,
You tell him you were from Brel?
well, he just says he's from the grasslands of Grinhelda.
Okay.
So he's from there. He doesn't say from Brel specifically. And told them about him living on a farm in it was Delron because
Yep, in Delron.
yeah, Delron, and then they traveled over the seas to the Shears.
He says, Delron, I've never been there. Heard it's full of savages.
Well, it really depends on where you go.
So she's full of savages. I told you, Mesra. They're never going to Delron.
Oh well, we had ample farmland there, and it was peaceful for the most part. You'd get the odd person here and there in some of the towns that, well, for lack of a better word, were savages, but wasn't really it wasn't lawless for sure. It wasn't a lawless place.
Interesting. I've been here in the Shears my whole life, down in the crag. It's pretty hard living down there.
I would imagine so.
And the night goes on for a little while. Ravim, you get back to the manse. There's still a few wagons trickling in, and inside you can smell this smell.
Smelled
This
before.
wonderful
Oh,
smell.
the smelly smell of something that smells smelly.
This wonderful smell of a cooking goose. You can smell this pastry, this sweet sugariness in the air, and some sort of bland root vegetable also filling the air.
Someone's trying to help.
Someone's trying to, but it's the thought that counts.
9-year-old natural 20 for the cook, of course, as per normal.
And I rolled an 11 for my potatoes.
Nonny will spice that up. We'll just add a little something to that later
We'll make it work.
when nobody's looking.
You see Frank, he's sitting down in the room there. You can see the two boys, Gretchen Grell, Gretchen Trell, down there. They're dicing with Frank. The boys seem to be disheveled. Like they woke up and didn't change out of their, and just put on whatever clothes they could find.
maids
No,
away.
yeah, no.
No one's taking care of the children. Don't worry, they'll change.
But they're dicing. They're with Frank.
They're hanging out gambling with Frank, having a good time.
This will
one-
actually be a good learning experience to actually get them to dress themselves.
Maybe this is what they needed.
It's sort of
Frank.
It's sort of funny. We send the help away less than a day for less than a day, and they're already gambling and
Yeah, well,
Well, they're
and wearing the clothes they wore yesterday.
They were gambling before.
We're not exactly role models, though, to be fair. I mean, look at this crew.
What's next? The hard liquor?
Maybe.
We have a tea.
Don't tempt Frank.
Is the tea having any lasting effects?
You don't know. You guys are sitting down for this wonderfully cooked meal, and because we had yours was 10, yours was a natural 20, and yours was above 20 with bonuses.
Mine was a
You have
19 on the die plus 6.
Okay, so I'm going to say
Man,
those who partook in this meal are going to get 2d6 points of temporary hit points.
right.
Originally.
You can roll them. Roll them up. 2d6, add those temporary hit points to
that's
those
nice.
who partook.
I'll take it.
That's 10.
4.
That increases my hit points by 66%.
Nonny is in beast mode
I
now.
only have
Okay,
I only
I
have
was gonna say, I don't
I
even
only
know.
have
I
15 hit
technically,
points.
Really? Oh, yeah, you're
I'm
squishy.
only second level.
I'm at 44 now.
was I having those?
3.
Was I in that meal? I don't know.
How have you missed so many sessions
I
and
am
still so
assuming-
far ahead?
She's a monster.
She was here a lot of
I
the
was
early
also-
sessions.
she
Almost-
was the original.
almost straight, yeah. Okay, so
you gotta remember it's an exponential curve, so
Yeah.
I wasn't always flaky.
what's going to happen is you guys are enjoying this wonderful,
It's not
wonderful
an
meal.
actual dwarf, but close enough.
And
Let's see something water.
you guys are looking around the table at everybody and kind of thinking it's been messed up a couple of weeks. And this is the first time you guys have really gotten to sit down and eat and look at each other without having to look over each other's shoulder and see what's coming around the corner, or figure out where you're gonna find a place to sleep tonight in this
Do we have to
wagon.
murder her?
Exactly, or who may be murdering you. And first there's kind of a chime at the door. Not a knock, a chime.
Oh,
No, bing bong.
And it's just this light, light kind of jingle, just like that, but more a bit high pitched.
She's gonna answer.
Okay, you open the door. As you open the door, there's this glowing blue orb, and it zooms by you.
Hello, come in.
And it swirls around the room, and it stops by Geillis. And Geillis, you hear in your head. He says, sorry for the interruption. This is Isla. Sure.
No, I know who Anna is.
I know Peter's like,
If you could, at some point, please return to the wardrobe. There's something I need to discuss with you and some of your compatriots about dress attire. And it goes, bloop. The thing disappears, and you can just feel.
Is this like a voicemail?
It's like a Howard from Harry Potter or
you
something.
You can feel this this urge maybe to send a message back.
So I'll look to the others and say, when would we like to go back to the dress shop for our clothes? Perhaps after dinner?
Yeah.
Does she have evening office hours?
Is that what you said?
No.
I have questions. Who's actually here for this?
Uh,
Because I don't have
everyone
clothes.
but
Like, I'm
Earlon.
not picking up clothes.
everybody except Earlon is
So
currently here.
these
That's
guys,
right.
these guys are here too? So it's just Earlon down doing the
Yeah,
thing?
just Earlon,
Okay,
yes.
Got you. Rough that.
Cool.
Okay.
When
And
are
she
you gonna
says-
get your fancy pants?
So I'll just stay back into the thing. We'll come along tonight.
Okay. You can see it kind of
Assuming you're open.
vibrate, and maybe it's taking in what you said, and it kind of hardens and then zooms by. If Cereza's still opening the door,
Yep,
it
I'm just.
zooms right out,
So good.
just like that.
Bye.
And you guys,
What was that?
She let it in, said hello, said goodbye, and was like, what the fuck just
That was a
happened?
message. We need our clothes are ready.
Okay.
Earlon,
yes.
you guys are finishing your cold cuts and your bread, and the bread is delicious. It's got this garlic flavor to it. It's been fried, so it's got this nice kind of crisp edge to it. As you're biting into it, it flakes off in your mouth. Your attention gets drawn away. Roll perception, please.
After hiding butts through you.
Rocking chair advantages. Let's see. That's 7 on the dice plus. No, it's 11.
The chairs are hot.
11. You hear the shrill scream.
Is there an open window?
Yeah, there's not much privacy here. There's the door that they have. It's just an open stone cut door, and there's a bit of a window that's just an open stone cut thing.
How high of a drop?
10 feet.
Gotcha.
He does it at the window.
So, Earlon will scramble to his feet and look out the window. What does he see?
You see women, children running towards the houses, and you can see a few of the men kind of standing there looking down towards the pile that you guys were digging out. If you look that way, you rolled an 11. You're outside now. You can roll a different perception.
Sure.
The first one was for hearing. This one is for seeing.
19.
19.
Nice.
You can see down at the end one of those larger ants. The one that was wearing one of the ones that was wearing the crown. And you can see it has a long spear, and it stabs it through one of the dwarves way down. It stabs him right through the chest and pushes him off, and he falls to the ground. And then it reaches down and it grabs one of the children, picks it up, and it runs off to the right-hand side, towards that hole that you guys had seen before.
Thank you for watching the Death Needs Dialogue Entertainment Network. This is The Depths of Fel'Than, Episode 14, Ticket to the Bulette, Part A.